Today I'll be going over every single LEGO Star Wars minifigure and set you guys should be buying before Mandalorian Season 3 premieres March 1st, 2023. Let's talk about it. So yes, welcome back everyone to another LEGO Star Wars video, and today I've got another installment of pretty much my series where I go over what I recommend buying before a specific Star Wars TV show or movie comes out. And today we have Mandalorian Season 3. Premieres March 1st, so about a month and a half away right now. The trailer came out yesterday for it during football. I watched it, and very, very awesome. I'll give you kind of my quick preface on it. It looks great. I think, I didn't even need a trailer to be excited for it. I think Mandalorian Season 2 was some of the greatest times of Star Wars just genuinely ever. And the biggest takeaway I have from it is the Order 66 scene. I really do hope that's Anakin coming through those doors and we see him fighting off those couple Jedi. It seems like that long-haired Jedi might be Syndralic, but enough of that. Nonetheless, I'm very excited, and with that being said, let's get into a couple LEGO Star Wars minifigures and sets that could be going up in value if we see them in Mandalorian Season 3. Of course, we have a couple confirmed characters here. We have a couple rumored characters, a couple wild card characters, then also a couple new and old sets. Starting off, guys, with confirmed characters. These are all characters and minifigures we see actually in the trailer. So starting off, we have a kind of a double combo here. We have the Armor and Paz Vizsla. Of course, they both came out in the Mandalorian Forge from last year, or 2 years ago, and now it officially retired as of the end of 2022. And these two right here are kind of, wild cards in the sense of, we might be seeing these guys in another set. Possibly. It looks like they're playing a little bit of a bigger role in Mandalorian Season 3 than previous seasons, so definitely room for LEGO to just kind of put them in another set. But on the offhand, though, if you guys don't really think LEGO will do that, now is kind of the time. I mean, they're going for roughly about $12 each right now, and, sure, if we get them in another set, especially a cheaper set, they will go down in value, but that's just the fact of the matter. But if you want to kind of secure them now, I would pay the $12 each and pretty much call it like that. Next up, we have the updated 2021 Greef Karga. So, of course, that set also just retired last year as well, and I think this is the closest representation to the outfit he's actually wearing in Mandalorian Season 3. And, look, I think, of course, we're gonna get another Greef Karga at some point as well. Maybe possibly the exact same one, but, he's only going for like $5 right now, where, if you want him for your LEGO Star Wars collection, or maybe buy up a couple, maybe 3 or 4 of them right now, kind of see where they go. I definitely think this is one that we could be seeing go up a little bit in value, at least, especially depending on how big of a role Greef Karga plays. Next up, we have Moff Gideon here, which so we actually did not see Moff Gideon in the trailers yet, but Giancarlo has kind of pretty much confirmed it. He's back for Season 3, and he's kind of spoiled a couple things as to what he might be up to in Season 3. I don't really want to get into that too much. We'll kind of go into a little bit more spoiler territory a little bit later on in the video, but Moff Gideon, of course, only came out in the light cruiser right now, going for about $40 right now, so not too shabby, definitely pretty expensive. And it's kind of been rumored he might show up in another set, maybe a little $20 dual set. I think a little too late for that. And if anything, a little bit of a spoiler territory here, but look, the bottom line of it, if we see Moff Gideon again in Season 3, which pretty much we will 100%, based off some stuff, he will be in a much different outfit. So if that tells you anything, Imperial outfit Moff Gideon might be forever exclusive to that light cruiser set. So now's the time. Like I said, if you need them for yourself, pick them up. As is, that set is retired, and especially if he shows up here in a month or two, he'll go up even more. Next up here, we have kind of a quadruple combo here. Basically every Mandalorian from the 2020 Mandalorian Battle Pack, but the blue helmet one. So we have not actually seen the blue helmet one yet in any of the trailers. We actually saw the other 3. I made a video talking about it all the way back in August when the Celebration leaks trailer came out. And so based off everything we see in the trailers here, it's one of two things, because there's actually something I'll get into a little bit later as well. It's kind of hard to tell if these outfits are specific to one character or if it's kind of a different tribe per se, where we have males and females both rocking the exact same armor pattern, say like with the green one or the brown or the dark orange helmet one, the light bluish gray helmet one. It's kind of hard to tell right now, whether or not they're going to be main characters. If they are main characters, of course, in a technical sense, maybe you only need a couple of them then, maybe just one of each. If they are just kind of, different tribes, kind of like how LEGO, I feel like maybe intended it to be. It's definitely one of those where you buy up a whole bunch of them. That battle pack did retire. A bunch of people do have a lot of that battle pack, but now that those minifigures finally are canon. I guess they were actually in concept art for season 1, but now they're finally showing up in season 3. So definitely a good one. Next up, we have the Mandalorian Loyalist from the Mandalorian Starfighter, and this one here, I'm just putting this one on the list. We did not see him in the trailer per se, but he is literally a Bo-Katan Mandalorian. Like, you know what I'm saying? So whether or not we see that exact same color palette in Mando season 3, I think realistically any kind of armyable Mando will probably go up in value, especially if we see some of these big battle scenes against different tribes of Mandos, and just overall maybe a big Mando versus Imperial battle. People are going to want to get every single Mandalorian they can. So moving on then to the last one here, but this kind of fits into the category of stuff like Grogu and Mando himself, and even Bo-Katan. So it's pretty much confirmed we're going to see Bo-Katan in a 2023 Mandalorian set coming in May. I mean, I would assume so. I mean, although it does look, based off the trailer, that Mandalorian, or that Fang Fighter set, the $100 Fang Fighter versus TIE Advanced or TIE Interceptor, it's actually looking like it might be Mando flying that Fang Fighter and not Bo-Katan. So, look, there is a possibility we don't see Bo-Katan in a 2023 spring set. Of course, she's still coming out on the foil pack, though, so that pretty much, foils any investing plans there, no pun intended. But, yeah, so stuff like this, Peli Motto, she shows up in the trailer. Of course, she's going to have a whole nother year on the shelf with the Mandalorian Starfighter, or the Mandalorian N1 Starfighter. So, probably not something you have to go out too quickly and get, but, she is showing up where, say if you do want just that minifigure and you don't necessarily want the entire set, now might be the time, so she is going to be relevant again in 2023. So there's pretty much all the confirmed characters. Next up, we have some rumored characters. So, of course, as always, this kind of gets a little bit of a spoiler territory. None of this is confirmed by any means. I mean, I'm just kind of going off of what people have said and kind of based off what I think. So we actually have a couple here. One really cool one, kind of. Nothing that I feel like is really investable, but if you've wanted a couple of these minifigures for a couple years now, now's probably the time. So any of the Praetorian Guard minifigures are rumored to actually be in Mandalorian Season 3. So there's actually some pretty legit concept art of Praetorian Guards for Mando Season 3 like a year and a half ago, I believe. So, of course, anything could have changed amongst, that time to now. But I think we all kind of know, Mandalorian and kind of this whole entire, like, Mando universe is definitely kind of leading up until the sequel trilogies. Some hints to it already in the trailer. And really trying to, I feel like, make the sequel trilogy make sense. Which, again, from Adam, I'm fine with. The sequel trilogy on paper is I'm perfectly fine with. I don't mind the First Order. I don't mind Snoke. I don't mind half the characters. It's just their execution was absolutely terrible. So Praetorian Guards here, rumored to be working for Gideon, actually. So a little bit of a different helmet design if they do go with the official kind of concept art for it. But if you guys have wanted some Praetorian Guards over the years, now's probably the time if you want to pick up 4 or 5 of them for a mock you're making, say, just before they kind of go into the public eye again this year. Next up, we of course have like Old Rebels Ahsoka. This is one I don't want to get into really too much. I think it's pretty obvious that Ahsoka could definitely show up in Mandalorian Season 3. And again, without kind of beating a dead horse, I mean, if you have old Ahsoka right now, good for you. That's a good buy. Hopefully you got it for a good price. But if you do really want this Old Rebels Ahsoka, and you're really kind of worried about just, again, maybe another piece of content, maybe they'll bring her up from $300 to $400 now. Say you do have the money where it's like you've been kind of debating it over the months. Now's the time, Old Rebels Ahsoka. Next up, we have Sabine Wren. So this is a big one. So this kind of plays into the fact there's been a rumor for a while that actually every single Rebels character will make their live action debut in Mando Season 3. So we actually have, the actress for Sabine that I think is confirmed, or very, very heavily rumored. I think it's actually confirmed by this point. And it was initially actually, I believe, a casting thing for Mando Season 3 like 6 months ago, I think. So whether she shows up in here, whether that was like a false report and it's actually just meant for Ahsoka, I can't really tell you guys that, but nonetheless, there's actually a Mandalorian in the trailer that also kind of looks relatively like Sabine. Another one of those things where if you take the end of the trailer, when, this Mando shows up, I'll put a picture on the screen, you can tell it's more of a female-oriented Mandalorian, I would assume. It does seem like they, have breastplates on, or, chest plates, representing, the female figure. Compared to earlier in the trailer, we actually have the exact same, what looks to be the exact same armor palette, but it looks more male-orientated. Again, it could just maybe be the lighting, could be the angles. So that kind of is where I'm kind of, hesitant on the fact of, will all these different armored and colored Mandalorians be actually different named characters per se? Just one per? Or will it be something where, they are entire factions or entire tribes? But Sabine Wren, possibly showing up in the show. And nonetheless, kind of now is the time to buy her anyway, because she will show up in Ahsoka. And at that point, will we see a Sabine right off the bat for, say, any potential Ahsoka sets coming off? I don't really think so. I think we'll definitely probably see her in the trailer. And nonetheless, I think when that trailer hits, for Ahsoka, say, in a couple months, we'll definitely get that hype and that spike in price for Sabine. Next up, we have Hondo Ohnaka, another one that's just kind of heavily rumored, kind of just a little cameo character, kind of like how maybe Cad Bane was, just something to kind of throw in maybe for a one-episode gig. Of course, he is alive in the sequel trilogy era. They have him at Galaxy Adventures. They kind of have a live action model of him, so definitely one right there. Sure, the Hondo we have in Lego form is based off Clone Wars, but nonetheless, it is one of those where, look, if he shows up, the Hondo Ohnaka minifigure will go up in value, guaranteed, I can pretty much say. So then moving on to some wild card characters. Not gonna go too much into this. Of course, we have Thrawn here. I don't think Thrawn is per se gonna show up at all. I don't think we're gonna see him in the flesh. But what I do think they could possibly do again is give us another name drop of Thrawn. So, just like how last time when they name dropped him, he went up in value pretty heavily. Especially if they do it, say, like in the 3rd episode or like 4th episode, where there's still 3 or 4 episodes after that he could technically show up in. I definitely think that price is going to go pretty high there. But again, stuff like the Thrawn and the Rebels Ahsoka, basically if you have them now, again, it's good. If not, it's really kind of just voting for your, voting with your wallet. Do you want to kind of make that high risk play to really kind of play your cards right? Sell off if you can, make some money, get it for yourself, and then have them not make it for a while. Really kind of all up to you. Next up, we have Snoke right here. So the big thing this kind of comes down to is the fact of, look, we see Praetorian Guards here. We have the whole kind of like cloning, kind of subplot for Mando as a whole, throughout season 1, 2, and 3. And then we also have Andy Serkis was rumored to have done extra mocap work as he was shooting Andor. So I definitely think Snoke's possible. I mean, I definitely think, look, I'm very curious to see how they all kind of play this in. Will we see Moff Gideon report to Snoke? Will we see Moff Gideon report to, Admiral Thrawn? Will Thrawn meet Snoke? Is Snoke going to show up maybe in the Ahsoka series instead? But I think nonetheless, look, I think Snoke is a minifigure to buy. I really do. He's only I think $8 right now, pretty cheap. No one really cares about Snoke up until now. But, if they start making him a little bit more, backstory and show him in a couple of these shows where, look, Mandalorian, production quality is fantastic, and, storytelling and everything, where if they actually make him at least a little bit of a likable character and say don't put him in another set, for a while still, since I don't think they're going to be touching sequel stuff, for a pretty long time after this. But Snoke's definitely one. And then kind of lastly, like I said, any of these Rebel characters, between now and the Ahsoka series, now is the time to buy them pretty much if you want them. And then, like I said, kind of play it by ear on some of the leaks and some of the news and rumors for new Lego Star Wars minifigures, of course. But we got like Hera, Zeb, Agent Kallus, and stuff like that. So moving on to the last little part right here, we have a couple sets right here. We have one retired and actually 2 retired sets right here. Basically, it's kind of hard to go over sets. Again, we can see a vehicle at any point at any time. How relevant will it be? Will it, mark the price up at all? Kind of hard to tell, but, 2 of them right here. Imperial Light Cruiser. I definitely think that's one where, like, if we see him in the new season, of course, people kind of want him again, or, the Imperial Light Cruiser, and that also has a Moff Gideon in there. So if Moff Gideon does include, or does indeed be an exclusive minifigure to that set, especially in that outfit, Imperial Light Cruiser is probably one to buy right now before it's too late. And then lastly, of course, 2020 Mandalorian Battle Pack for those Mandalorian warriors. Same concept. It's like $20 right now. You pretty much can't go wrong. If you've ever wanted that set at all, just one copy of it, 2 copies of it, now's the time, because it's not going to get any cheaper. And with these minifigures or these characters showing up in Mando season 3, especially if they aren't just named one-off characters, especially if they have 50 of them shown in the show, there's going to be a lot of people out there that I feel like all of a sudden want to go back and get their 50 of the Lego versions to, say, recreate a possible scene from Mando season 3. But that's pretty much all for today's video, guys. Pretty much going over some confirmed characters that I recommend, some rumored stuff, and then also some wild card stuff. But really, like I said, at the end of the day, vote with your wallet. What do you think will be good? I'm not a financial advisor. I just like making these videos to kind of spark discussion, kind of make you guys think of for yourself, formulate your own opinions. And nonetheless, though, guys, leave your comments down below. What do you guys think of this list? What other characters do you think we'll see in season 3 of The Mandalorian? And also, how excited are you for Mandalorian season 3? And as always, guys, that's all for this video. Please really comment and subscribe. Stay tuned for you guys later. Bye, guys, and stay safe.